to this World Press Conference on review of 2019 election.
Press conference of 2019 presidential election review after we have all sat and reviewed the presidential election. The just concluded 2019 presidential election, the most recent in our democratic journey, was very eventful. Nigerians must recall that the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, most commendably released for the very first time the timetable for the election as a full year before the poll day. The activities preparatory to the election were all done in line with the timelines, hence Nigerians were in shock when the election were postponed. The event that avoided the shift on INEC, we later discovered, were due to sabotage and political manipulation, which were prompted by politicians to gain undue advantage in the election. We, however, applaud the proactive leadership of Electoral Commission for taking the best decision in the interest of the nation to shift the opening polls and conduct of the elections. For us, who were direct participants in this election, and with the information we had, we felt the election was impossible in 7 days. Hence it was a major pull for INEC to have conducted it that time without any major hitch. In the build-up to the election, we as presidential candidates on other political parties had several meetings with INEC. The delay in finalizing the electoral legal framework deprived the nation of the such needed reform of our electoral process. The needless controversy over the INEC server will have been lawful, as it will have been mandatory for the Commission to deploy the server. We are aware that INEC had runs pilot on electronic transmission of the result. It had informed us that this pilot were deployed in Anambra, Ondo, Ekiti, and Osun governorship elections. However, INEC informed all political parties in the election, following the non-passage of the Electoral Act, that it will not deploy the electronic transmission of results, since it will not be lawful to do so. We must inform Nigerians now that the People Democratic Party was represented in those meetings, and we do not know why they are hitting up the politics with the server story. This INEC server controversy is a deliberate ploy to destroy the integrity of our electoral process. Can the so-called result from the server be referred to as credible, where INEC could not have legitimately transmit result of the presidential or any of the other elections electronically? Gentlemen of the press, having gathered as presidential candidate and political party leaders, we thoroughly x-rayed the 2019 election, the unfavorable and hostile environment the election management body operated under, and the extant law under which the elections were conducted, have come to the emphatic conclusion that the INEC performed creditably well, and we hereby unequivocally reaffirm our confidence in INEC for its performance against all odds in the conduct of 2019 general election. There were several innovations introduced by INEC which made the 2019 election freer, fair, and more credible than what we obtained in the past election, such as the simultaneously accreditation and voting, the introduction of assistive innovation for physical challenge voters, the continuous voter registration, which added 14 million new voters to the register, were but a few of the innovations introduced by INEC. Therefore, the report of the European Union Election Observation Mission released over a week ago, wherein they allege a lack of transparency in the guidelines of election, is bewildering. With all due respect, the EUM is left to Nigerians to decide how we conduct our 2019 general elections. INEC consult widely and extensively, and together with stakeholders of which we are part of, came up with the guideline for the conduct of 2019 general election, which the Commission followed to the later. We recall that 9 out of the 11 points for consideration we raised as candidates under the auspices of the IPA and CUPP, respectively, were adopted by Commission. However, the then can the EU accuse the Commission of a lack of transparency in putting up guidelines for the election? We reiterate that INEC server controversy is unnecessary. It is a plot to discredit the election as political parties never agree with INEC in any of the several pre-election meetings. That result will be transmitted electronically. Parties agree on a lot of issues with the Commission, and those were implemented in its wordsome that only one political party out of several and different on the presidential election, while at the same time praising its romance on the other election, especially governorship conducted by the same INEC. Therefore, we would like to urge the 9th National Assembly to revisit the electoral bill passed by the 8th National Assembly and resent to the President. The electoral bill amendment will hugely improve our electoral system and its process. We also demand the immediate setting up of the process that will lead to the sanctioning of all personnel of security agencies who compromise the election to serve as a deterrent to others, and exhibit that there are consequences for risking the peaceful coexistence of the country and putting the country in danger. And at this junction, we call on the 9th National Assembly that they should look at the bill proposed for electoral offense, which when I was chairman of Interparty Advisory Council 2012, we had sent this bill to the National Assembly. It should be considered so that people could be brought to book. We urge all Nigerians to remain peaceful and law-abiding and go about their lawful duty, as we believe that the Presidential Election Petition Tribunal has for now put the controversy to rest with the ruling it gave yesterday. Let us support our electoral system to make it better and secure the right of Nigerians to freely choose their leaders. Thank you, gentlemen of the press, for coming.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman.